In the bronze tower of Argos, where no mortal man had ever set foot, Danae wept tears of gold. King Acrisius, her father, had imprisoned her within these walls of gleaming metal, for the oracle at Delphi had spoken a prophecy most dire. Your daughter's son shall be your death. Yet the king had not reckoned with the might of Zeus, Lord of the heavens. Through the narrow window of the tower, a shower of golden light descended like liquid starfire. The very air shimmered and danced, as Zeus, in his divine form, claimed the princess as his own. From this union of mortal beauty and immortal power, a hero was born, Perseus, whose name would echo through the ages. When Acrisius discovered the child, his rage knew no bounds. "The gods mock me," he roared, yet he dared not spill the blood of Zeus's son directly. Instead, he commanded his servants to seal mother and child within a great chest of cedar wood and cast them into the wine-dark sea. The waves received them, and the chest rode the storm-tossed waters like a vessel guided by fate itself. Dawn painted the sky crimson when the chest washed ashore on the island of Seriphos. Dictys, a humble fisherman mending his nets, found the precious cargo and gasped in wonder at the radiant woman and her infant son. With kindness that shone brighter than gold, he took them into his humble dwelling and raised Perseus as his own. Years passed like swift-flowing rivers. Perseus grew tall and strong, his divine heritage manifest in every graceful movement, every flash of his keen eyes. But darkness gathered like storm clouds, for King Polydectes, brother to noble Dictys, had conceived a burning desire for the beautiful Danae. The king's heart was consumed with lustful fire, yet Danae spurned his advances, protected by her son's watchful presence. Polydectes, cunning as a serpent, devised a trap most cruel. He announced a grand banquet, declaring his intention to wed Hippodamia, and demanded that all nobles bring costly gifts to honor the bride. The great hall blazed with torchlight as the nobles of Seriphos gathered, each bearing treasures beyond counting. Perseus, proud and young, stood empty-handed among the gift-bearers, his cheeks burning with shame. The king's eyes gleamed with malicious triumph as he addressed the youth. "And what gift does the son of Danae bring to honor my bride?" Polydectes asked, his voice dripping with false courtesy. Perseus straightened to his full height, divine pride coursing through his veins. "I have no gold or silver, O king, but I can bring you any gift you name, even the head of Medusa herself." A gasp rippled through the assembled nobles. The king's smile was sharp as a blade. "Then let it be so. Bring me the Gorgon's head, young hero, and you shall have my eternal gratitude." As the words left his lips, Perseus felt the weight of destiny settle upon his shoulders like a bronze mantle. The trap was sprung, and there could be no turning back. That night, as Perseus wandered the moonlit shores in despair, the very air shimmered with divine presence. Athena, gray-eyed goddess of wisdom, appeared before him in all her terrible beauty, her bronze spear gleaming like captured starlight. "Perseus," her voice rang like struck bronze, "your boast was born of noble pride, but Medusa's gaze turns all living things to stone. Yet I shall aid you, for your cause is just." She placed in his hands a shield of polished bronze, its surface bright as a mirror. "Never look upon the Gorgon directly, but use this shield to see her reflection. Only thus can you approach her without becoming another statue in her grim collection." Then came Hermes, swift messenger of the gods, his winged sandals bearing him down from Olympus. "Brother," he said, for Perseus was indeed his half-brother, both sons of Zeus, "take these gifts from our divine father. He bestowed upon Perseus a sword of adamantine, harder than any earthly metal, and golden sandals that would bear him swift as the wind. The gods directed Perseus to the Graeae, 3 ancient sisters who shared but one eye and one tooth between them. These daughters of the sea lived at the edge of the world, where day meets night in eternal twilight. Perseus found them by their sacred pool, passing their single eye from hand to hand as they kept their eternal watch. Swift as striking lightning, he snatched the eye as it passed from sister to sister. "Give us back our eye," they shrieked in unison, their voices like the wailing of winter winds. "First tell me where I may find the Gorgon Medusa," Perseus demanded, holding the eye high above their grasping fingers. In their desperation, they revealed the secret, the location of the nymphs who guarded the final tools he would need. With their directions burning in his memory, Perseus returned their eye and soared away on Hermes' golden sandals. The nymphs, beautiful as morning light, welcomed Perseus and granted him the final gifts, a magical wallet that would hold whatever was placed within it, and the helm of Hades, which rendered its wearer invisible as shadow. Now fully armed, Perseus flew to the uttermost ends of the earth, where the Gorgons made their dreadful home. The very landscape around their lair spoke of their terrible power, trees turned to stone, birds frozen in eternal flight, and the scattered stone forms of warriors who had dared to challenge them. There, in a grove of stone laurels, Perseus found the 3 sisters sleeping. Stheno and Euryale, immortal daughters of the sea, lay coiled like serpents. But it was Medusa who held his attention. Once the most beautiful of mortals, now transformed into a creature so hideous that her very gaze meant death. Perseus donned the helm of invisibility and drew his adamantine sword. Using Athena's shield as a mirror, he approached the sleeping Gorgon, her bronze-scaled body rising and falling with each breath. Serpents writhed where her hair had once flowed like golden water. Guided by her reflection in the polished bronze, Perseus raised his sword high. "For my mother's honor," he whispered, and brought the blade down in one perfect stroke. The head separated from the body in a fountain of golden blood, and from that divine ichor sprang 2 wonders, Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden giant. Perseus seized Medusa's head without looking upon it and thrust it into the magical wallet. The other Gorgons awoke with shrieks that shattered stone, but Perseus was already soaring skyward, invisible beneath Hades' helm, the greatest treasure of all secured in his magical pouch. Perseus's journey home was marked by deeds of wonder. He turned the Titan Atlas to stone, creating the great mountains that bear his name. He rescued the Ethiopian princess Andromeda from the sea monster Cetus, claiming her as his bride. But it was his return to Seriphos that would complete his destiny. He found his mother taking refuge in a temple, fleeing the forced advances of King Polydectes. The king and his nobles were feasting in the great hall when Perseus strode through the doors. "Behold!" Perseus cried, producing the wallet. "I bring the gift I promised." Polydectes laughed in scorn. "You return empty-handed, as I knew you would, boy." "Empty-handed?" Perseus smiled grimly. "Then look upon the face of Medusa and see how empty my hands truly are." He drew forth the Gorgon's head, and instantly the king and all his court were transformed to stone, their expressions of shock and terror frozen for eternity. Noble Dictys, the fisherman who had shown them mercy, was crowned king of Seriphos. Perseus returned the divine gifts to their rightful owners, though Athena kept Medusa's head upon her aegis as a symbol of divine justice. In the end, fate proved inescapable. Perseus, seeking to reconcile with his grandfather Acrisius, traveled to the city of Larissa. There, competing in athletic games, he threw a discus that struck the old king in the head, killing him instantly. The oracle's prophecy was fulfilled, though not through malice but through the inexorable will of the fates. Perseus founded the great city of Mycenae and ruled wisely for many years. When his mortal life ended, Zeus placed him among the stars alongside his beloved Andromeda, where they shine eternal as constellations, a reminder that even the greatest heroes are but players in the grand design of destiny. Thus ends the tale of Perseus, slayer of Medusa, whose courage and divine heritage carried him through trials that would have broken lesser men, proving that true heroism lies not in the absence of fear, but in the will to act despite it.